What's going on, y'all? I'm your host, Cool Colas, and you are now tuning into a new video on my channel. For today's topic, we're going to be talking about y'all's boy Jacob Fatu from WWE and how he decided to use the word nigga in a song that he recently did. So let's get into it. I want to take some time to correct something that I originally said, or more so give clarity to what I meant by my statement, because I wasn't very specific and I kind of said it in the moment. So I did a video collaboration with my man Chillmonger, shout out to him. And during that conversation, I said something about how Samoans have some black in them, but I need to clarify what I really meant by that statement and also what I didn't mean. So what I meant by that statement was there's a level of Melanesian to them. So they have ancestry where there are melanated beings who are a part of their lineage, but that's not the same as having the lineage of being a foundational Black American or even someone who is of African descent. These things are not the same. So I should have more so said that versus what I actually said in that conversation. With that being said, Samoans do not have the right to say nigga. They do not have the right to say nigga in any context. I don't care if they're saying it with their friends. I don't care if they're saying it with somebody off the street. I don't care if they're saying it as an insult. I don't care if they're saying the lyrics to a song. They have zero right to say nigga. And what's interesting, and I'm gonna be real, I actually like Jacob Fatu as a wrestler. I think he's a good wrestler and I think he's pretty interesting and he's funny. But I have to just say what I think is happening here. I think that WWE has a way of trying to create this $5 FBA agenda. And what they're trying to do is take all of these different wrestlers who are Samoan, Polynesian, whatever you want to call them, and then have them mimic the swagger of a foundational Black American. So in other words, they tend to have them say things and do things that would typically be trendy in our culture. So with that being said, I see that a lot of times with these Samoan wrestlers, and they seem to be doing this to make them a replacement for actually showing Black people on screen. You can see this trend with many different wrestlers. You can see it with Jey Uso. You can see it with Solo Sikoa. You can see it with Jacob Fatu. You can see that they're trying to pawn this off on a lot of these different wrestlers so that they don't have to show us being ourselves on television. Because anytime they do show us, they're going to either bury us as wrestlers, or what they'll do is have us be this super exaggerated stereotype. So what they're doing is taking a bunch of Samoans who really aren't that much of the population of America in general and having them portray this gimmick of being a stereotypical foundational Black American. What doesn't help is that a lot of these wrestlers who are Samoan actually have Black wives, so it buys into this whole idea of, well, Days is Black anyway, which is not acceptable. Because you'll see people like Roman Reigns, who has a Black wife. Jey Uso, I believe, has a Black girlfriend or wife. I'm not sure if he's married at this point, but I believe his significant other is Black. Jimmy Uso is married to Naomi, who is a WWE wrestler. Solo Sikoa also has a Black wife. So you see this trend of Samoans looking at sisters as ideal partners, and as a result, people are believing that it gives them agency and license to say things like nigga and to basically claim that they are one of us when they are not. Ultimately, when it comes to Jacob Fatu, I think he got comfortable. I think he's comfortable with being the $5 FBA on screen. So now he thinks it's cool for him to go around and say nigga publicly. Also doesn't help is you got people like The Rock, who owns stake in WWE at this point, promoting and putting on more of these Samoan wrestlers, but he doesn't do anything to put on foundational Black Americans, despite the fact that The Rock is a foundational Black American himself. So this tells you a lot about where he has chosen his loyalty to be from a cultural standpoint. Think about how much he puts on for Samoans. Think about the fact that even when he has roles on television or in movies, you never really see him with a Black love interest. Matter of fact, the only time I've ever seen him with a Black love interest is when he was potentially being positioned in Why Did I Get Married To with Janet Jackson's character, Patricia. But let's get back to Jacob Fatu because I'm kind of going all over the place at this point. Jacob Fatu does not get the opportunity and certainly doesn't have the right to use the word nigga in any context. I don't care if he's been from the streets. I don't care if he's been to prison. I don't care if he wears his hair in these raggedy ass locks that he has on television that look all scraggly and fucked up. You do not get the right to say nigga, because let's be real. All you're showing is that you too are anti-black and you're cool with it, because here's the reality. A lot of these people who are not black but also not white are using nigga in private and sometimes even in public because nobody has checked them. Because you'll have people who are Asian, people who are Indian, people who are Hispanic, white Hispanic at that, who will all use the N-word and they think that that's acceptable, and it's not acceptable to do. First part about all this is there's no real repercussions for his actions. And I think that the bar had been set with what Tiffany Stratton's old mayonnaise-eating ass had done. And what they're trying to do is make it where anti-blackness is something that is either acceptable or something that they can just turn a blind eye to. So now anybody can do it. It doesn't just have to be an outrage when somebody white does it, but somebody who is non-white and non-black can do it, and they just get off scot-free. That's why Jacob Fatu is not getting any repercussions for what he did and what he said in his video called Hello with Rikishi. The point of this video is that anti-blackness always needs to be checked. And the reality is that we need to look at it from the other end. If this was somebody who was black, a foundational black American especially, and they went on and they said some greasy shit about white folks, or even they said some greasy shit about Samoans, I guarantee you, not only would it be an outrage, but they would have fired that superstar on the spot. So let's be real about one, the anti-blackness, and two, the hypocrisy. And again, y'all need to take notes of the patterns that WWE shows. WWE is showing you that they are fully for anti-blackness going on, even when it's not a white person who is committing it. All right, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say, and I'll definitely have more to come, so make sure you stay tuned. In the meantime, hit the like button, subscribe button, share button, and the bell icon so you get notifications for whenever I come out with new content on this channel. Other than that, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out, y'all.